If I told you there's a way to turn small, regular investments into life-changing wealth without winning the lottery, you might think it's too good to be true. But it's not magic. It's not luck. It's something so simple that even Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. That thing is compounding. And if you truly understand how it works, it can completely transform your financial future. Let's break it down together, step by step, in a way that's so simple you'll never forget it. Compounding is when your money starts earning returns, and then those returns start earning returns themselves. Think of it like planting a tree. In the first year, you get a few branches. In the second year, those branches grow leaves, but now they also start growing new branches of their own. Over time, the tree doesn't just get taller, it explodes in size. The stock market, specifically the S&P 500, has historically returned about 10% per year on average. That's our baseline. We're going to use that 10% to see what compounding really looks like. Imagine you start with $1,000 right away and then invest another $1,000 every year. That's about $83 a month, less than a couple of streaming subscriptions and a few takeout meals. Year one, you put in $1,000. At the end of the year, with a 10% return, that grows to $1,100. Not bad, an extra $100 for doing nothing but letting your money sit. Year two, you add another $1,000. Now your total investment is $2,100. But remember, the first year's $100 is still working. That $100 earns another 10%, and so does the new $1,000 you just put in. Suddenly, you're up to $2,310. By year three, something interesting happens. You add another $1,000, but your previous investments have grown enough that you're making more than $200 a year without lifting a finger. The numbers keep getting bigger and faster. Fast forward 10 years, you've invested a total of $11,000. At 10% annual growth, your portfolio is worth about $18,531. That means $7,174 of that isn't money you saved, it's money your money made for you. Now, let's push forward. After 20 years of starting with $1,000 and adding $1,000 a year, you've contributed $21,000. But at 10% growth, your portfolio is now worth around $64,002. More than two-thirds of your wealth at this point didn't come from your pocket. It came from compounding. At 30 years, you've invested $31,000 of your own money, but your total is now over $181,943. That's over $150,000 of growth without doing anything except staying consistent and letting time do the work. And here's the real magic. The longer you let it run, the crazier it gets. Let's talk about Warren Buffett, the most famous investor in the world. People know he's worth over $100 billion, but what they often miss is that most of that wealth came after he turned 60. Why? Because compounding takes time to really accelerate. Buffett started investing when he was just 10 years old. By the time he was 30, he had about $1 million, which is already amazing. But here's the thing. More than 95% of his net worth came after his 65th birthday. The reason? By that age, the snowball he had been rolling for decades had grown so big that even a 10% return added billions each year. If Buffett had started investing in his 30s instead of as a kid, he'd still be wealthy, but nowhere near as wealthy as he is today. Starting early is what gave him such an incredible advantage. This is where most people go wrong. They want results fast. They invest for a few years, see small gains, and think it's not worth it. But in the early years, compounding is slow, painfully slow. The big jumps come later, and if you quit too soon, you never see them. It's like heating water. At 90 degrees Celsius, it's hot, but it's still not boiling. You have to keep adding heat until it hits 100, and then suddenly it transforms. Compounding works the same way. Let's go back to our $1,000 a year example. If you start at 25 and invest until you're 65, that's 40 years. Your total contributions would be $40,000. But at 10% annual growth, your final portfolio would be around $442,000. Now here's the kicker. If you waited just 10 years to start, you'd only end up with about $171,000. That delay costs you over $270,000. That's the cost of procrastination in investing. The truth is, Compounding is boring in the short term and mind-blowing in the long term. The secret isn't finding the hottest stock or timing the market. It's starting early, being consistent, and letting time do the heavy lifting. Warren Buffett once said, "The stock market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient." And patience is exactly what makes compounding so powerful. So, if you take away one thing from this video, let it be this. Start now, no matter how small. Your future self will thank you 100 times over.